Hello. In this video, we're going to go over a comparison test between the released version of FieldGenius, which I am currently on, and the latest developed version of FieldGenius. In this test, we're going to be comparing the connection speed of FieldGenius to the GNSS receivers. Before we start this test, I encourage everyone to navigate themselves to the Systems menu under the Settings tab and find the Communication Trace File option and enable it. This will help us later on with the creation of a trace file which can be used by our development team. To find this trace file, simply navigate yourself to the FieldGenius folder, which for me is under this path. After you navigated there, click FGM, log, and in here you'll see various trace files if that option has been enabled before. Please delete them. Now we can get started with our testing. Navigate yourself to the Select Instruments menu, and this is for my previous test, but we're going to create a new profile for my hemisphere receiver, and I'm going to set up my communication. We want to keep track of the connection speed between FieldGenius and the receiver. So here it is. And once I start the connection, I'm also going to start the timer. So I had to stop the video there, so I didn't keep you guys waiting, but it took around 21 seconds for FieldGenius to connect to the hemisphere receiver. Now I can just disconnect from it. And if we go back to our trace file folder, we'll see that this trace file has been created. What we can do now is rename it to the FieldGenius version that we're currently using, which is 3.2.10697, and the device that we did this test on. And that's about it. So next, I am going to close FieldGenius and update to the newer version. But before I do that, I suggest everyone to create a backup of their FieldGenius folder. In this case, I've done this test a couple times already, but what I'm going to do is essentially show you what I did, which is copy and then paste the folder again in this exact menu. So now that the copying is done, a second copy has been created. So that I'm using as my backup. And I'm going to be deleting my FieldGenius folder. Now I'm going to update to the latest version of FieldGenius. And now we are on the latest developed version of FieldGenius, version 3.3.10802. As I said before, please make sure that the communication trace file is enabled. Now we're going to redo the test that we just did. We're going to create a profile for our hemisphere. In my case, for you it can be any other receiver. And then we're going to set up communication to it. I'm going to start the timer as soon as I hit connect. And as you can see, we have quite the improvement, almost cutting the time in half. And it took around 9 seconds for FieldGenius to get connected to the receiver. Now I'm going to navigate myself back to my FieldGenius folder and find my trace file. So in this one, because the receiver is still connected, I know that the one that I'm currently using is this one over here. So I'm going to go ahead and delete those two. And once I disconnect, we'll see that the status changes. And I'm going to change the name of the trace file to the version of FieldGenius that I'm currently using, which is 3.3.10802. and the device that I am using. And there you go. That is about it. And yeah, thank you very much.